post-traumatic stress injury, it's a result of our profession. We should be affected. We see people in situations that most people don't see people in. And if you weren't affected, I wouldn't want you as a police officer. People will watch this and they will call me brave for speaking out. But they think I'm brave because they're scared to.
Sound speed. Laurie, take 2.
My name's Laurie. I've been with the Waterloo Regional Police Service for 23 years. Got hired in 2002 when I was just over 21 years old. I would say that it's always been part of my character. Like, I don't think I ever really stood back when one of my friends was, in the middle of conflict. I was usually the one who stepped in front, and then the conflict was with me. So that kind of natural protector has always been part of who I was. And it was just kind of like an easy transition into policing. I wanted to be on the ground. It's happening right now. Like, let me protect you. Let me set things straight. Let me be kind. Like, let me make a positive impact for the worst day of your life. It's the proudest thing you'll ever feel, right? In police college graduation, when you're marching across and you've graduated police college, and before you've really hit the road, like, you feel like Superman. Like, it's the best you'll ever feel, I think. And then you were racing from call to call, and you were doing pursuits, and you were going fast, and it was just like, for a 22-year-old, it was awesome. Like, after shift, you're hanging out with your buddies. That was your community. Like, that was what you knew. And I think that's what's so awesome about policing, is you become like this family. And I think that's what's hard for the public to understand, is that when there's things that remove you from that family, or you start to feel different, then it becomes really hard. At 5 years on, I had a shooting, and I think that I was still honeymooning. So for me, after that, things changed, but I was loving every minute of it. It was just kind of a regular, I think I was on afternoon shift. We had literally just stopped as a bathroom break, and we had happened to be at a Starbucks that was right beside the pharmacy. So we were actually on scene as the security officer was calling in the robbery. So we responded, and the subject was still on scene. He was a big guy, and he was fully masked. He was not, you couldn't see his face at all. He had his eyes covered, his face covered. So I couldn't see if he was responding to my commands, which he wasn't. And his knife was up. And I mean, I was already 5 feet away from the guy when I came in the store, and I was backed in a corner. So I think the hardest part was, in my brain, I can still remember, and I remember saying it at the inquest, like, please don't make me shoot you. Please don't make me shoot you. And it's not the thought I'd ever thought would be going through my head as I was in training, because that's not what you're not conditioned to be human in that moment. But I don't think we can not be. So I think that's, when you're supposed to shoot, you don't want to shoot. And then when it's over, you wish you didn't have to. As soon as I came on the radio and says, I've shot him, the sirens, I can't explain how many sirens are coming. So you knew everyone was coming for you. You're kind of in a daze. You're standing there helpless, watching someone try to save the life of someone that you just shot. And when he's going away in the ambulance, I remember mouthing to one of my partners, I'm like, is he dead? And she was like, it's immediate. Everyone coming on scene knows the jeopardy I'm in. Because now I'm being investigated for homicide. because now people need to figure out if I was okay to do my job. I really struggled with having taken a life. I just didn't know how to process anything. There hadn't been a shooting where someone died for 25 years, and this was 18 years ago. So we were pretty naive in our policy or training for it. Right after, I think I had 2 days off, and then I came back in uniform to shift. But the journey to me discovering that I have post-traumatic stress was 10 years. You know, we used to say, like, you take some of these things and you wrap them up real tight and you just tuck them away in this little box in the back of your head, right? Because when they come out, it can be too much for you to handle. If I had to say what's the worst injury that I came out of that with, it was like the moral injury and just the belief that I am bad. I am the same as those murderers that are locked up in the cell block. I can identify with them more than I could identify with good human beings. Like I wasn't the same as all the other police officers anymore because I'd killed someone. They hadn't. So they weren't bad like I was. And I can remember like waking up and thinking like this person that I'd taken his life, he was now haunting me. So I had to say, like, I can't believe in like angels, I can't believe in demons, because if there's no angels, then he can't haunt me. Like he can't be alive still, like he can't be present. And I remember like seeing him in my room, and like the presence was overwhelming. I started to notice like a couple different things starting to happen. So one of the things was when I held my kids, I wasn't feeling love. Like I didn't feel the love that a child can give you when you're holding, like everyone knows what it feels like to hold an infant, and it's like this instantaneous warmth and love, and I couldn't get it. I would start getting really angry. So I've got like a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old, and I'm yelling at my 3-year-old in a voice that I might have broke up house parties with. It's loud and aggressive, and she's terrified. And then I lost all memory of like my wedding, my childhood, my kid's birth. I just had no memory. You know, I hadn't been sleeping. I had stopped menstruating, so I wasn't getting my periods. I was suffering from prolapse, and no one really recognized what any of that meant. Like no one had a clue. Then it kind of creeps into work where you're kind of like, I'd go to robbery calls and it's like my foot, it would just shake. Like I couldn't press the pedal. Like you're trying to press 10,000 pounds of weight just to make your pedal go so that you can go fast. And it's 10 years later. And I think that's where it's hard. It's like it's 10 years later. And if you look at the research, I mean, we didn't even know what PTSD was except for veterans in, 2007. Like a lot of psychologists barely studied it. It wasn't really understood. I found it very lonely and isolating. That's when my jaw locked shut it wasn't locked because I had anything mechanically wrong. It had locked because I wasn't speaking my truth. And I didn't even know what truth I needed to speak, except that I needed to apologize that I had taken someone's life. I think that when you have children, you don't forget on Mother's Day that someone doesn't have their child. It's not lost on me. And policing doesn't let you apologize. My lowest point was I came into work one day, my jaw's locked shut. I'd been battling this like insane need to just feel protected and looked after. And a supervisor had called me upstairs. And all of a sudden, I just went into my first panic attack. I couldn't breathe. I went into the boardroom. I ripped up my vest. I turned off the lights. I literally thought I was dying. And I just sat there in the dark, and I called a coworker who I trusted dearly, and she came up and just sat with me until I could breathe, until I could get myself out of there. And it was after that I started to recognize that this is more than I can do alone. I left, and 2018 was when I left, and that was my last day in uniform. Was kind of like when I sat there ripping off my vest. If I'd known that was my last day in uniform. And that's when, I just begged for help. I called and I looked up, there was a program with Homewood, and I had started their 6-week program. That turned into 6 months. They just wouldn't release me. They were like, there was so many layers of trauma that I think we had to unpack each one. Some will say however long it takes you to get sick, it's going to take you twice as long to get better. And I thought, shit, I've got 10 years deep of getting sick. So I got a long journey to wellness. And I think, and I think that's true. And I don't think we'll ever come back until we realize, I'm not fighting for that 25-year-old who I was when everything happened. I'm trying to figure out who this, who this 45-year-old is. Acceptance is the only thing that gets you through, and I'm not there yet. And watching my family, we used to have these epic dance parties in the basement. We'd blare the music and we would dance, and we all loved it. But then I got sick. We couldn't dance. And I see the effects on my kids. And I can remember one day, I can't remember which, I think I'd graduated from Homewood, and I was doing pretty good at that point. And I can remember, my husband sent me a video of me having a dance party with the kids. And he's like, you made it. He's like, yeah, you've made it. And I think I made it that day. And I don't think anyone gets that. Yeah, I did make it that day. I thought I would never get back to policing. When you get sick at work or injured and you're forced out of something that you absolutely love, I think that in itself is a bigger injury than anything I'd been through. I begged people for one more return. So I'm back at work now, and I feel worthy. My job is to change policing, so that no one ever has to go through what I went through, and make it better. There's things I want to do, and there's things, there's people I want to help, and there's policies I want to write. And I think that we can do better helping people stay in a profession that for some it's a calling, for some it's their identity, is the greatest gift you can give someone who's been injured if that's what they need. I want to help change that in our service.